Welcome back to OKC. It's me, KC, and we are now back for another fireside chat. On a serious note, though, this is a real serious conversation, a real serious topic. Um, yeah, I just seen something earlier this week that just blew my mind that I knew I just had to talk about. Um, yeah, I do have a little cute little presentation. So, if you guys are ready, let's get it poppin'. I was just gonna see if that worked. So, it creates more than just babies. Are y'all guessing what we're gonna be talking about today? Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about how 1 plus 1 actually equals 3. So, we all been told and heard about the birds and the bees, right? At least from TV, from our parents, from other elders. And it was literally probably just like that, right? Birds and the bees. What about the birds and the bees? Because for one, those two don't even go together. Like, you don't even go here. Why are we talking about birds and bees? Pollination? I'm not really understanding what's going on. But we know about sex, right? We know about the birds and the bees. Barely. First of all, we have to start by not telling this lie, right? There is no stork that delivers babies. So please stop. Stop with this lie. Stop telling your kids, stop telling your nephews, your nieces that a stork drops off a baby. All right? We have to be honest and tell them that this is how babies are born, how babies are created. That a man and a woman, maybe not this man and this woman in particular, but a man and a woman, a male sperm conjoins and joins with a female's egg and then creates a baby. A blastocyst that turns into a fetus, that turns into a baby, yada, 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 right? This, not birds, not bees, not storks, but sex. But we know that, right? Because we're told this is the number one risk of having sex, pregnancy. Teen mom, teen dad, you don't want to, no, don't do it. You're going to have a baby. I'm not raising, okay. That's what we're told. We're told pregnancy. We know sex leads to a baby, right? That is the basis of sex that we're told. Sex leads to a baby. But a baby is not the only concern when it comes to sex. And we're not being honest about that, and we're not teaching our children that, and we're not being honest with ourselves. Like, let's be real. Let's talk about what else comes along with sex. Let's talk about germs, baby. Let's talk about 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's more. Or should we say diseases? AIDS, HIV, HPV, herpes, syphilis, crabs, chlamydia, gonorrhea, trichomoniasis. Oh my goodness, the list just keeps growing. It's probably more out there that I don't know about. this is also a major risk of sex, protected or not. And when we talk about sex, let's talk about sex in all forms, whether it is vaginal, penile, whether it's anal, whether it's oral, whatever you are doing, fluid bodily contact, uh, even kissing, there is a possibility that you could spread diseases, parasites, STDs, germs, aside from creating another life in the midst of chaos, right? So imagine my befuddlement when I come across a Facebook post. Now, the Facebook post showed a father talking to his daughter. Well, not really talking. Okay. Maybe just like talking and at her to him as well. And it was more so of I don't know, you know, I wouldn't, I, I don't know, but imagine my even more surprise and the curdle my stomach had when this man said, yes, that she had AIDS and was pregnant. His 14-year-old daughter, he stated the doctor called and said that his daughter had AIDS. And he began to ask her, like, so you haven't been going to cheerleading practice? How long haven't you been going to cheerleading practice? So, what have you been doing? You got AIDS. Then said, you don't even know what AIDS is. And said, now meanwhile, she is responding back, you know. And she's like, what's AIDS? Well, Dad, you knew I had a boyfriend. I have been going to cheerleading practice. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm just like, this has to be a skit, right? This has to be a skit. Because there's no way that this girl is 14, has AIDS, and has just come up, well, let me put it the other way. Is pregnant and has just come up with AIDS. Or maybe they was both the same phone call. I'm not quite sure, but it broke my heart for two reasons. For one, she's 14. And what a load to carry if this is true. Because she has no idea what she's in for if this is true. And for two, because as a parent, having a daughter, having a son, and watching another parent who felt the need for one to post this on social media for whatever reason, because maybe that's where I draw the line, and what I will expose in my life. Maybe I'm judging, and if I am, I apologize for that judgment, but that's just my opinion. That's where I draw the line. But it also just felt real, what the fuck ish, to be honest. Like, is this a skit? Is this real? I hope this is a skit, because if this is real, How have we have failed as parents, adults, um, older generations, and not even what are we discussing with our children, right? What are we discussing with ourselves? Like what the fuck? Like if are we going to get checkups? Are we sure that we're clean as well? What and if we're not taking care of ourselves, what are we what are we teaching our kids? So are we not talking to our children about diseases and pregnancy? Right? Because I know y'all not talking about this one. I know y'all not talking about this one. So let's talk about soul ties. We are but energy exchanging energy. And 9 times out of 10, we shouldn't even be exchanging energy. And I'm going to just keep it 100. I've exchanged energy with folks I should have never exchanged energy with. I've laid down with people I should have never laid down with. So I know if we're not talking to our children about pregnancy and diseases, we're definitely not having this conversation, which is even more drastic and catastrophic and chaotic and karmic in our lives when we engage in sex with people we shouldn't even be having conversations with. We are giving our bodies to people that we shouldn't be giving our time to, words to. Sex is an energy exchange, and we are already energetic beings. So, you got you. And you got them. And you meet them and you join with them and you do the do. And you have now created a lifelong soul tie, regardless of what people think. Once you engage in intercourse with someone, you are now energetically connected to them and them to you. So while in some cases it does work out or seemingly work out, because in anything, all things do come to an end. And it's not to say that there is no such thing as love and happy endings, that life comes to an end. We all must leave this world. Nothing lasts forever. And as well, some things are just for seasons. While you may not end on bad terms, you just may end. But there is still that connection. And then you have those occasions where you or them, one is in it and one is out of it. But there is still that connection. And when we think about it, even when it comes to sex, sometimes we are sleeping with people that we know we shouldn't be sleeping with. Like I said, I can attest to that. We know we don't see a future with this person. We know we wouldn't have children with this person. We wouldn't break bread with this person. We wouldn't take this person to meet our parents, to meet our friends. We only look at this person as a good time, a quick time, a fun time. And still consistently indulge, whether you or them, Because it could be the other way around. They look at you and say, hey, yeah, I don't really like her. I don't really like him, but I'm going to keep messing with them. Creating binds, creating soul ties, depositing pieces of yourself into other people, receiving pieces of other people into you. Or both of you can know this is not what is supposed to be going on. This has created such a toxic environment, such a toxic relationship that we are both drained, that we both don't like each other, but maybe you can't pull away from each other. Maybe y'all keep going back to each other. Or maybe that person is just always seemingly in the back of your head, in the back of your mind. Or it could be worse. We see situations all the time on the news. People who can't let people go, male or female. It is the transfer of energy. And most of the time, the only time, to be honest, we should be transferring energy is procreating. Now, marriage, whatever, do as you please. I mean, you're going to do as you please anyway. If you're grown. If you're a child, you shouldn't be doing anything. And that's just me being there, done that, lived that life, grown, experience, knowledge, wisdom, experience, understanding that this energy transfer is real. And this just doesn't apply to female and male because, once again, we're energetic beings. Now, in the way that we should see it, male and female. But male, female, what have you, it is an energy transfer. And in that, it plants seeds. Not only could it plant seeds into your body, but it could plant seeds into your mind and how you operate and how you look at the world and what you believe. Not only does it bind you in the flesh, but it changes how you see yourself, relationships, others, life, spirituality, your morals, your habits. You can get with somebody who is lazy, who lacks potential, who is negative, and in turn you're going to turn negative. You're going to, especially if you're a positive person, if you're already negative, it's just going to fuel it, right? It's just going to push you further into that mindset. But if you're a positive person, if you're upbeat, if you believe in the best, if you have faith, and you get with somebody who is not equally yoked as you are, right? You are going to pull. They're going to pull from you, and you're going to pull from them. And unless you are wise enough and have the discernment and the mental maturity and emotional maturity to realize what is going on, it is going to eradicate you before you eradicate it. And that's just the truth of the matter. You're going to start changing how you view yourself. You may become insecure and you may become judgmental. You may become this or that, how you handle your relationships. Maybe you pull away from people now. Maybe you're more clingy. How you view others. How you view life. What you're capable of doing. Even spirituality. I've seen circumstances where people have changed people's faith in what they believed in. Morals. What you're willing to do. Habits. What you're willing to do. They say what they say in Dare, marijuana is the gateway drug, sex is the gateway drug. Just think about how addictive it is for people. That they look to porn, they look to prostitutes, they look to crazy pedophilia, necrophilia, so much crazy stuff to get a fix. But nobody's talking about the real cost of sex. Nobody's talking about how not only does it affect your body, does it affect your mind, your environment, your circumstances. It could affect your pockets, paying for kids, paying for medicine, for surgeries, for anything. Shit, for therapy, for court, for jail. I honestly believe they say 18 and up. I don't believe in that. Maturity is subjective, age is subjective. Over 21, anything under is a law. Anything under 21 is law, meaning I don't think you should be having sex. I don't think you should be concerned with sex. I don't think that should be so it just baffles me how we as people, when we talk to these boys, these teenagers, oh, you got a girlfriend, or y'all so quick to, like, I seen a video of a stripper with some teens or some little kids. Like, what is going on? You don't have to try to prove that or try to flaunt sex or females or even young girls, with men and whatever else to prove they're not gay. Like, yo, let them kids be kids. Now, over the age of 21, okay, cool. Even though still, I say no, wait until you feel like you found that person that you're willing to give over something as special as your body and your energy that they're going to have for forever. And somebody that's you're willing to accept their energy. Because everybody ain't worth it. And I wish I could have had this conversation with the 14-year-old me, the 16-year-old me, the 24-year-old me. These are the time frames I made bad decisions. I'm not going to say bad decisions, but decisions I wish I was old enough and had the mental and emotional maturity to realize the detriment of the choice I was making and the consequences of my actions, because I didn't know the things that would come. Because even though I was somewhat very protective over my sex and my sexuality, being 14 and having sex was not the brightest idea for me. I was not ready for that. And it led me to be hyper loyal to the next person that I gave my body to at 16. Where even if I did make that decision the first time, I didn't have to continue to go back. But because I made that decision, I felt compelled to continue to sleep with someone that I probably shouldn't have continued to sleep with because the signs were there. And then that led to me discovering a lot of things that we just talked about today, including the fact that storks don't bring babies. Sex does. And diseases come from sex as well. And HPV is very unforgiving, no matter how quick you catch it. And you have to live with some decisions you made and choices you made for the rest of your life. Why aren't we telling our kids this? Why aren't we acknowledging this? Why are we still adults and y'all don't know y'all status? Anytime something felt off with me, I was going to the doctor. 16 in college, I was going. One thing I did know was my body. I just didn't have the common sense at the time to realize my body deserved more. So that's why I'm here. To tell you, whether you're an adult or a child or a teen or whoever whoever's listening, that you deserve more. Your body is a temple and it deserves more. It deserves more than a one-night stand. It deserves more than pseudo love. It deserves more than trips to clinics and doctor visits and golden tickets. It deserves more than side pieces and third parties. It deserves more than threesomes and polygamy. It deserves more. It deserves more than constantly sharing multiple people's DNA and germs and fluids. It deserves more than you constantly popping pills to get rid of different infections you keep getting. And you deserve more. Your body deserves more. I think you deserve more. And I would hope you would think that as well. There's more to sex than just a fun time. And sometimes the more to it can last a long time. We don't have to talk about the diseases. HIV, AIDS. We talked about that little girl, 14 years old. If that was a real and not a skit, 14 with AIDS, right? Heartbreaking. Totally preventable if we had better conversations. I'm not saying she still wouldn't have went out there. But are we having the conversations? And if that man had an in-depth conversation, then forgive me for my ignorance, for not knowing what goes on in your household. I apologize. I'm going by what's showing up on my timeline where she says, "What's AIDS? I don't know what AIDS even is." And you like, "Yeah, I know you don't know what AIDS is. I bet you don't know what AIDS is." Yeah, that tells me right there, sir, that ain't nobody explained to that baby what AIDS is, what HIV is, what herpes is, syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, crabs, trick, human papillomavirus. If I could speak from wisdom, and if you happen to be a child, which you shouldn't be, coming across my video, I don't I don't put my kids. I don't put videos for kids on YouTube. Um, but I'm gonna have a conversation like I would have a conversation with my kids, because I have conversations with my kids, and I will continue to have conversations with my kids until it feels like I've said enough, and I probably will never feel like I've said enough. But if you happen to be a child, and by child I mean anybody under the age of 21, which technically, yes, you will come across my video. So anybody under 18, still 21 and under, but anyone under 18 who is thinking about sex, wait, hold off. Don't do it just yet. Wait, hold off until you know that they are worth giving a piece of yourself to. Hold off. Wait until you know that you will be with that person every day, at least with the hopes of till death do you part. It's not worth it to give your body to somebody who does not appreciate it, who does not respect it, who will abuse it. Don't you be the one who doesn't respect your body, appreciate it, and in turn abuse it. There's more to sex than just a fun time. There's babies. And with that comes life changes. You are responsible for another human. There's diseases that can be life-changing. And you would be responsible for every other human that came in contact with you in some of these cases. And there are soul ties. That you are not even going to understand you're creating. There are going to be things that you change and you don't even understand why you're changing. Because you've chose to lay down with him or her or them. Guard your heart. Guard your body. Guard your temple. Because I know you see society telling you to do this, to dress like this, to look like this, to everything is sex these days. And let me tell you, The devil is a lie. And society ain't nothing but Satan. We need more real conversations. Real conversations need to happen. Our children are lost, and it's our fault. It's the generations before us. It's the generations before them. So who gonna change it? Who gonna do the work? Some gotta change. Some gotta shake.